Yeah. Where do you want to start? Let's talk about all the good stuff first.
All the good stuff.
Yeah.
So Gen Con was a lot of fun. I mean, it's Gen Con. It's the greatest 4 days in gaming. That's their tagline.
I don't know about
anyway.
that.
Well, when you go
Gen
for
Con was pretty stressful.
So that's the thing to remember about Gen Con, especially if no one's ever been. If you're going for like one event, like most of us pretty much all did,
Yeah.
just for Transformers, it's not the same kind of experience. So I'd always recommend that if you're going to Gen Con at least, or a big convention, even like Origins, make sure you check the stuff out because there's a lot of cool stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's not just limited to that one game room. But that said, oh man, Transformers, whoa,
Yeah,
it was
right?
awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so I myself only got to play in one preliminary and missed it by that much.
Yep.
So-
We'll talk about that one for sure because that was
Yeah,
definitely
that's something definitely something people need to pay attention to.
yeah.
So
Yeah. So
But I had a great time. Got to reacquaint myself with Stefan from Estad Akuma. That was really good. Got to meet Joe from Wreck and Rule. That was really good.
RJ.
Got to meet RJ, which was really cool. RJ is a stand-up dude. So that was really nice. Got to play some really good matches. I mean, I had a great time in the preliminary that I played in. So that was the best part for me was just getting to play some really good games, and ultimately, I had a good time, even though at the end there was some stupidity.
some issues.
Yeah.
What about you, Rudy?
I agree with Wes. I mean, with Wes, it was great. It was my first event, so I have like nothing to compare it to.
Was it your first big card game tournament?
No,
too?
it was my first. Yeah,
Okay.
it was my first big card game tournament, plus like first Gen Con, because I didn't appreciate how big the convention was. Because like Wes and Jeff told me, like this thing is freaking huge. I'm like, yeah, whatever,
And
guys.
you walk into the hall, it's an airplane
It's
hangar.
70,000 people.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, like
So-
all of Indianapolis is in this convention center right now. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah, it is. Yeah, like just walking around Gen Con, I was like, it was like overloading of like all the games and stuff that you could do.
Yeah.
And
Did
I
you
mean,
only pretty much stay in the card gaming room, or did you actually go to the vendor's side?
I went to the vendor side.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had to get some stuff for some friends that they asked me to pick up some items, and then I just walked around, checked out everything. It was great, and I guess going back to what Wes was saying, for like the issues, like they seem like there's some logistical issues.
Yeah.
But I mean, like for an event that size, I'd imagine that's just kind of it happens.
Yeah.
And
No, you did qualify,
I did qualify.
and one of the and one of the prelims.
That's right. And I only had to bribe the judge like $100, so that
Nice,
was a
nice.
steal.
Yeah. Probably not say that on camera.
Oh yeah. Peace.
Yes.
But no, I did qualify legitimately, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, one thing that was really cool about qualifying, I didn't realize until this morning, but Jacob qualified with the deck he built.
Yes.
I qualified with the deck I built.
Yes.
You qualified with the deck you built.
Yes. Yeah. So
Just
we
Straight
went
up.
in with our own steam.
yep.
It was good.
Yep.
And I honestly, I thought my first game, so when we play here, it's really loosey goosey. We have fun, and then my first match, I'm playing my opponent, and then he flips his cards, and he got a white, and he forgot to flip for his white pip, and like my reflex kicked in. I'm like, dude, you forgot to flip 2 cards, and as soon as I'm saying, I'm like, oh.
And then his
Yeah,
flips killed you.
And then his flips killed my wheeljack, and I'm like, why did I open my big mouth? Because
Well,
it's a tournament, it's cutthroat, but I'm like,
But that's
It is also go ahead.
but that said, that also I mean, good sportsmanship is good sportsmanship. I mean, yeah, we're all there for a purpose. We all want to get qualified. We all want to we want to get to the money rounds because honestly, money's good. But honestly, I just want to go to the Energon Invitational.
yeah,
And that's what I want to go to.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's it's okay not to be a silent player and be that like, so serious.
Yeah,
Right.
because
It-
we're
you know,
there to have
it's like-
fun.
Yeah, and
it's
we're
a
also
game.
very used to that not being the case here because we're all
Right.
pretty open and pretty active and
I
chatty.
mean,
and
Yeah.
this is a game for 9-year-olds, and we're all 40 something. Most of us are 30 to 40 something adults playing.
we're
it.
about 9 to 10, maybe
Yeah,
11.
and we'll make sure you're level wise. Yeah, I'm
But, you
I'm
know,
safe.
yeah.
You need to go lower with that number for us too.
I'm like 5,
But
6.
you know, the thing about it is, I mean, it's we're all here to have fun, and we should try to have fun. And if you don't have to tell your opponent they screwed something up, but it's never. I don't know. I wouldn't look poorly on it.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, like I can definitely see both sides because one side, like it's a tournament, like it's
They should know what's going on.
Yeah, like today, RTFC, read the freaking card.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know. Thanks, Wes.
It's okay. They come out.
But on the other hand, too, like it is just a game, you know.
Well, that's rule number 1 is have fun.
Yeah, exactly. This
Rule number 2, win.
Right.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
They're interchangeable rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you do? How did you like Gen Con?
I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's my first Gen Con, so I didn't know the convention would be that big. I've been to other conventions like the Denver Comic Con here,
Yeah.
or TF Con, so they're a lot smaller in scale. The gaming,
Denver Comic Con is about the same size.
Really?
Yeah, it's
doesn't feel as big.
85,000 people. over the
Say it didn't
weekend.
feel as big either. Again, Gen
It's
Con
more
felt
spread
way
out.
bigger.
It is more spread out.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So,
Yeah,
yeah. And the convention center in Indianapolis is smaller than ours.
that makes sense.
Our convention center is.
It did seem really
ridiculous.
compact.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
The gaming side wise though, I've played competitive card games for like 15 years, so
Yeah.
the environment I was used to. So I was also used to that, but
Yeah.
like Wes, I only got to play one preliminary, but I didn't do too well. Yeah, that's okay. I had a good time. I got to meet RJ. That was probably the highlight of my weekend. Was playing him and meeting him, even though
He says he's still salty about
he
that
is salty.
game.
I got really lucky against him.
You guys are gonna have to have a rematch.
Yeah, Remax the patch.
Yeah.
There's like a
Patch.
card that comes
Patch.
out like says Kevin loses. Like, who the hell is Kevin?
It's an exclusive. Sorry.
Kevin
You didn't
Tron
get this
loses.
Yeah.
That's
Like that's your face on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
RJ was awesome. Joe was awesome. Stefan was awesome. I met other people too, but I can't really remember their names.
That's one thing. Yeah, it's just I felt kind of like an asshole because there's so many people that you're meeting, and like the community is like I'm just new to Transformers, but everyone in the community is like super cool, and like you just like you meet people and like, dude, like I'm sorry, what's your name again? Like,
Yeah.
there's like a bajillion of you.
Well, and especially when you're meeting everyone for the first time and all that stuff, it's difficult to remember people's names. So.
Yeah.
I think you had one of the coolest experience at Gen Con. You got to play.
Yeah, I get to play against.
Oh
Scott.
yeah. I felt really bad because it was like the worst matchup you could possibly
He
go
sits down with
against.
Constructicons, and I'm like, "Oh, that's really awesome." And I look over, and Rudy's running Grimlock.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
I'm doing. It was the one deck I had, and I'm like, I don't want to win like this, not like this.
yeah, that was one thing you guys didn't mention that I was a huge fan of Gen Con was meeting Wizards of the Coast staff.
Yeah.
Meeting Matt, Scott, and Drew was absolutely awesome. Like,
Scott was really cool. He talked to me and Rudy for like 30 minutes.
yeah,
Yeah, he was a really cool guy.
having them there was
I had a
insanely
good
amazing.
conversation with Scott. Only briefly, very briefly, spoke to Matt and never met Drew.
Yeah.
I didn't see him.
Yeah,
the whole
he
time,
was
but-
pretty busy the whole time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for sure.
But it was great talking to Scott. It's just like the experience at Origins when talking to John and Ken. Talking to Scott was great. He gave some interesting insight on things, which I thought was cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's one thing I like about this game. The developers are like in the trenches with all the players.
Yeah.
You don't get that very often, almost ever with games.
I didn't see for
And,
Pokemon. I played for 15 years.
And seeing the people who are actively developing the game, who are actively happy about the game, they're happy with their product and they're so happy that we're playing it.
Yeah.
And that's great. It's a great feeling that they want to be engaged. And that's like, again, I can't say how awesome that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think it just goes like, I feel like they have a love for the IP as much as we do, and it shows in the game.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's like I feel like they did a really great job of representing the robots.
Yeah. Well,
The robots.
Cybertronians, Rudy.
But like to piggyback on that, there was a specific time when I heard someone talking to, I think it was Matt or Scott, and he goes, "That's not what that character would do." So
Right.
it was just like 100%. They are very into the IP and knowing what the characters would do and what their characters feel like, and they're like, that character wouldn't do that. And I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah. And it just adds to the what I like about the game is the characters really do feel like they're represented well, and the gameplay also represents that kind of feeling as well.
So next question is
Well, wait.
what?
What about you?
Oh yeah,
me?
yeah. Come on, our
All
gracious
right, all right,
host.
all right.
Tell us your amazing tales, Jamie.
Right. It was awesome. Like I can't put a tier list on how like my favorite things were because I'm very biased to what my number one would be. But meeting the Wizards of the Coast team, absolutely amazing. Meeting subs, meeting people who watch the channel, super awesome. Got in some casual games. Meeting all the content creators for me was absolutely huge to be able to see the people that put so much effort into the game, being able to shake their hands and chat with them and stuff. Although we didn't get to spend enough time talking amongst each other, but maybe we'll be doing some more stuff here soon with that. And like that was, it was all about the community for me. Getting qualified was awesome. Getting into the top 32 was fantastic, but meeting everybody was what I was there for. And I ate it up. I mean, I don't think I left that convention except for from like midnight until 9 a.m. I was in the convention hall at those tables for 12, 13 hours a day.
Yeesh.
Absolutely.
That's
And
impressive.
you're a rock star commentator now.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Like I
You-
said, that would be my biased number one best thing about that. So
You and Stefan did a great job. It was great
Yeah, you two are probably together.
going
Yeah.
back and watching those. I'm glad those got posted because I missed the live stream.
yeah.
So
Which-
it was
To go on that, Wizards, I told you there, I will travel, pay my own way if we get to do that more in the future, because being able to have people who aren't at the convention to watch is a huge deal.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, it's really difficult to go into like my YouTube channel or someone else's, watch a game and have any idea as to what's happening. And it's really hard to go back and learn the basics without knowing where to go. And then being able to watch those events for the people who are fans, it generates so much hype and so much conversation around Transformers that people would then start to look into it more.
plus it was way better than the old Magic the Gathering commentators they used to do back on ESPN2.
Yeah.
Because those were entertaining to watch, and just because he played a Blastoderm, that's a very powerful card.
Well, and
Where
that,
the way you guys did it, it felt more natural.
yeah.
So
Well, and that was the really cool part with having Stefan there, is he's a great player. I'm a great player, and then we had Matt as well, who was able to explain why cards were designed the way they were, why they were named the way they were, and to have him also commentating was amazing.
Yeah.
To like sit there and be able to go back and forth between two awesome people who know so much about the game and go, oh, we see this play, and it's like, oh, but he said this, that makes so much more sense about this play, and we were able to deliver such good commentary for what was happening and to do it, like you said, just so naturally.
it was great.
We had no scripts. We didn't have access to deck lists. It was very much a kind of they knew they were live streaming it. It was kind of a last minute with me getting there and stuff and it working out to where it was amazing. And everyone who's watched it loves it. And, but it didn't get posted anywhere. People wanted to see it. I wanted to go back and watch it. And then once I found it, I posted it to the Reddit. I posted it to the Facebook group. And it blew up in views because people want to see that kind of stuff.
It was good stuff.
So it was amazing. Like I said, I would 100%, 1,000,000% do it in the future. 1,000,000%.
Nice.
So
question 2 then.
question 2 is, how do you think you played, and would you have changed what you played? We'll start with you. We'll just keep going.
Like around circles.
Yeah.
Well, in the one tournament I played, I was doing awesome.
You were 4-0.
4-0 by it started round 5. It was great. And going into round 5, though, there was some issues with how the event was, like how the pairings went, how the numbers went. There was a bit of confusion, and I'd gone 4-0, so by you get 3 points every game win. For every total game win, should have been at 12 points, having listed at 9. They matched me against another 9-pointed player, which
You essentially got paired down.
I essentially got paired down, and I made a stink about it. So they paired me probably correctly, but they didn't. They should have. They honestly should have taken the list back and repaired the whole tournament.
Yes.
That's what they should have done. They
Yes.
didn't. They just paired me. They just moved me and another person to another seat, and ultimately, I lost the next game. Okay, fine. And then the last game, if I had been thinking properly, I wasn't. I should have just drawn with my opponent, and we both would have gotten into top eight, and I would have been at the final 32. But because they still had my points messed up and my pairings messed up,
You played to be safe.
in game 6. So I played to be safe because I wasn't sure what was going on, and because they didn't post any standings going into round 6.
Right. None.
And it's hard to make informed decisions if drawing is the best choice for you and your opponent, because in these kind of games it's okay to draw a game. I could have probably drawn my last two. If I actually would have drawn my last 2 games, I probably would have been in.
Yes.
Because that would have put me
At 402 at 14 points.
Yeah. And so, long story short, I am happy for Pastimes for running the events and putting them all together. And like Rudy said, there's some obviously there's something logistically behind the scenes that messed stuff up. So I'm not angry. I'm just a little miffed at myself because I made a mistake.
Yeah, well, it's yeah. Go ahead.
And then I'm also just if I knew everything going into the final 2 rounds, like the way things should have been, like if they would posted standings like they did at Origins. At Origins they ran everything pretty much great. There was some deck list issues that they fixed in this one, but then when it came to pairings and like matchups and stuff like that, it was all over the map. At least in our
we had a pretty big hiccup in one of our tournaments as well. So
yeah, overall, I wouldn't have played the deck I played. It was great. I would change some of the cards.
Yeah.
Which I've done now
Since, yeah.
And the deck is still, I think, solid. And so I would have, I'm still playing that one. So I'm probably going to play that one for a while now because I think
You won tonight with it.
Yeah.
So 3-0.
So yeah, we had a small little tournament, but it was good. Yeah, 3. So yeah, So overall, that was me.
Yeah.
Golly, would I have done anything different? I don't think.
Would you have slept in through that tournament?
Oh yeah,
I did sleep into the morning tournament, but
I was like, "You gonna make it?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm on the way."
I'm on my way.
Nope.
Like, nope.
Nope.
Not when you look this good.
That's why hotels.
Oh yeah, it takes
That's why hotels have wake up calls.
I have an alarm clock, but I just sleep.
That's
through
why
my
hotels have wake up calls.
Well, yeah, no, I slept through my morning one, and then
But it worked out for you.
Yeah, no, it worked out because I qualified that evening.
Yep. You got some extra rest. You got to relax.
I wanted to.
Go ahead, sorry.
Oh yeah, no. I guess my one regret was just because it was me and a couple of my buddies that I play with, because it's James and Nick, and I wanted to play with their decks. And the day I got there, I opened up with James's Dinobot deck, which was fun. It was a hoot. It was a hoot and a nanny. But then I got 10th, right? Because you got 9th, I got 10th, and then and then for my deck, I qualified. And then, but since I slept in, I wasn't able to.
Well, you got to enjoy the convention that morning and go pick up some stuff and come over and watch
Right,
me do well.
right.
And then
So it worked out.
Yeah. I would say the way that you qualified worked out for you and also for myself. It was interesting.
Yeah, well,
No, it was good.
playing people that when you travel 1,200 plus miles to a tournament,
Yeah,
and you get
you're
paired against
Paying for a hotel, paying for an airplane, and then you get paired against
someone you play with locally.
Multiple times a week.
Yeah, that was actually that was a part that I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Just because I want to play other people versus the people that I play against. I'm happy that I played against Rudy in the tournament.
Right. Because
Yeah.
you guys played in round 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I play Rudy here at home.
I know.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I didn't get a chance to play Nick's deck because I also like the time frame too, because since everything cuts off.
Oh yeah.
Because if you're doing far behind and I need to stay in this round and win, or I'll risk it and I'll drop and I'll go in again. So
yeah.
I would like to have played Nick's deck to see how it would have done. But like changes, I don't know. Changes, I feel like is a slippery slope because it is.
I mean, hindsight, everything's 2020.
Yeah.
So
Hindsight,
it's
like,
easier to go. This is what I would have done.
Yeah,
but
but of course, because
yeah.
you knew the matchups, you knew what you're getting into.
Right.
Because it's just, I mean, I feel like matchups is a big part of it. It's not all of it because, like, I mean, you can get a bad matchup but still eke out a win.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah. But yeah, it was. I don't think I would have done anything different.
I would have.
Because it was. Oh, that's not true. That actually, the one card I really was trying to put in was also dropped in some ramming speeds. Because I said enforcement batons for my sideboard, but should put ramming speed in there.
I
too.
mainboard 4 removal in every deck.
Jeez.
If it's orange, I go 2 ramming speed, bashing shield, enforcement batons. If it's blue, I go bashing shield, enforcement batons, 2 vaporize. And if it's mixed, then it's bashing shield, enforcement batons, vaporize, ramming speed.
Okay.
No
okay.
dismantle.
Nope. Nope. Only because it doesn't hit a utility.
Yeah.
If it could hit a utility, I would run it all day long because I love the black pip for that in
Yeah.
some lists. But yeah, no, the fact that it doesn't hit a utility is super relevant because everyone who played me at the tournament knows my main deck gyro blasters were almost too much for a lot of opponents, and because they didn't have main deck ramming speeds or whatever else and just couldn't deal with it. Utilities are extremely they're an extreme threat.
Oh,
They
yeah.
are.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a response for it, it is gonna hurt. Yep. And the longer the turns go on over and over.
Yeah.
So you were saying, so what would you have changed?
I wouldn't have ran Superion.
Really?
I wouldn't have. But also the way that worked out. So the morning I went, I was 2-1. Now I should have continued playing in that event. I should not have dropped to 2-1. Especially with the deck I was running, I would have been probably good, maybe could have topped. But I chose to drop because I wanted to play with all of you guys in the night event. And I chose to run Superion. So I'd already been playing for 4 or 5 hours. And then going into round 2, round 1 I played against a person who we went to game 3. We went to game 3. I was like, okay, take a first draw, we're fine. Game 2, played against you. We drew. So then I started the day with 2 draws, so I had to go the next 4 wins straight.
Oof.
And 1 round 3, 1 round 4, 1 round 5, which we had a really big pairing issue in round 5. And I essentially got paired up in a Superion mirror match. I beat him game 1. Game 2, I was pretty set to win based on my sideboard and stuff. And then they came over and we had to get new opponents.
Yeah,
So
I think they shuffled 8 players.
I don't remember.
At least
but
8 players. And
they moved me, and I had to go play against someone new. You end up getting a buy out of it.
Yeah, when I was 101.
Yeah. And then I went up against a Menasor player, and we went all the way to game 3. So I essentially played almost 5 games in 1 round, and I was just mentally toasted at this point. And then ended up winning in game 3, so I just needed to win the next one to qualify, and it was a draw against someone else who was very, very new to the deck, to the game in general. So it was a tough one, but I knew we were going to draw. We had 6 minutes left to go to game 3, and I was like, I'm out. You can have the win. I don't care. I was toast. I was toast. So it was just, I was comfortable with the deck, but man, that was one long day. I would have not, nope.
nope.
yeah,
So.
I know what that's like. It was like when I qualified at Origins for top 32. I had to play the morning tournament and the evening tournament.
Yeah, and you were on Superion.
And I was running Superion, and at least in the evening tournament.
Right.
And that was, it is a mentally taxing deck sometimes.
Well,
And
especially when you, in your scenario, you were winning in. You had to win.
Yeah.
And that's
It was, so I totally understand the mentally out.
bleh, bleh.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think just blue in general. It's just the blue decks require so much thought because it's not like with bugs or most vomit orange decks where it's like I'm swinging and are you dead yet? Blue requires more finesse and you're what am I going to play? What
Specific
am I going to
stuff.
do?
Yeah.
And you have to be super mindful of what's going on because orange, you're dishing out as much as you can and whatever hits you, well, I'm losing some bots, but you're losing them faster.
yeah.
But yeah, and God, blue is it is exhausting to play blue, but it's also fun because having that element of control and is really nice. But yeah, when playing multiple games, we got Superior.
I'm telling you,
dude.
I was so burnt. It wasn't even funny. I was
Yeah.
like, dude, I don't care. Like if like I won game 1 really easy. Game 2, I just got really bad on card stuff. So I forced game 3, and it was like, I wish I could have just ended that game there, and I just couldn't. And it was like, I'm done. That was it. It was literally, I had to draw 1 card to do 1 damage, and I drew a handheld blaster, and I'm like,
Oh,
Well,
great. I'm like, I'm done. I wasn't even doing
That's
it after
the worst.
that. Yep, didn't even bother going to game 3.
Like,
Didn't even bother.
like, don't worry about it.
Nope. Like, it's a draw. You can have the win. Don't care. I'm out. So, don't even care. So,
Well,
how about you?
Yeah.
I'll play the same thing as you. I wouldn't. I made some changes afterwards, but at the tournament, I think it was fine. I started out with the win against RJ. With the super lucky win. It was actually all skill. It was easy.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, don't throw it on
I saw Kevin actually texting on the phone. He's like, you done? All right, now okay.
I was texting you. I was like, what get some food after this?
Yeah, I know. It's like, there's a bunch of like
I just gotta
newbies
finish.
here.
Oh, jeez.
No, I just got really lucky against RJ in the first round. Then play you in the second round.
Yeah.
And we ended up just playing and chatting, but I think we were gonna do the draw anyways. But
Yeah,
we just
no matter. Yeah.
killing time.
Yep.
Then that third round was that big kerfuffle.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was playing my opponent, and he's playing Minosaur, and beat the first game. Then after the first game, Wizards came over, Pastimes came over.
And then I played the Menosaur guy.
Yeah. Then I ended up getting a bye somehow, and you play him.
Yep.
Then after that, played a Bugs guy. So I was 2-0-1 at this point. I lost to Bugs. I couldn't hit the Gyro Blasters at all, so he kind of just ran through me.
Yeah.
Then I can't remember the last 2 rounds. I ended up going what? I think it was
You probably-
4-1-1.
4-1-1 should have put you in.
No, it was.
So you had to been like 3-2-1.
It was 3-2-1. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have kept you
Yeah,
out.
because I had to play all the rounds. I think the last one I had to win and get in. So I think it went 3-2-1.
Yeah, because the way it usually works out in a 6th round, if you're at that 14 mark, 13 mark, 12 mark, you're kind of in that.
You're in the
If you're at 14,
Yeah.
you're in. But
Yeah.
so
13
yeah,
is a bubble.
yeah. Everyone who qualified from our team was 4-1-1.
Yeah.
Every one of us.
No,
You
I
did
wasn't
it.
4-1-1 then.
Yeah.
I was definitely 3-2-1.
Yep. So yeah, I was 4-1-1. You were 4-1-1. Jacob got in.
And if I had
at
gone
4-1-1.
4-1-1,
And if had you drawn in yours, you would have most likely been in. So
I'm gonna kick myself for that because I just again I got in my own head and with all the trouble that they had with whose points were where everyone was standing, like they just
yeah, you
didn't-
have to see standings before that last round because it makes a huge difference whether or not you need to play or you're safe.
Right.
So I mean
The last round, I could have even won. Maybe still got in because
Yeah.
my points.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely.
The whole buy in the third round when I was 1-0-1, just I kind of
It
threw
was-
off my
it-
tiebreakers
yeah.
and stuff too.
Yeah, it was very strange.
Yeah,
So-
it was super strange. But I had a good time. Like I said, meeting RJ and Joe and Stefan are probably the highlights of my whole weekend.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I only could play in one because me and you were working.
Yeah, you guys were working to the event. Yeah. So as far as this one's interesting for me, but as far as the meta goes, was it what you guys expected? Was it off the wall?
I was super surprised by the amount of 3 white primes I saw out there. Maybe it was just my matchups, but there were 3 white primes everywhere.
So yeah, I'm going to specifically dive into this a little more because I think it has a lot to do with the content creators with it. But I don't know if it was good that we all kind of kept our decks secret. And the reasoning behind it was I knew we all would because it's something that we want to play, right? Now, everybody who was a content creator qualified on their decks that we didn't talk about, right? So that was really good. The decks did what we wanted them to do, but the problem was there was no real diversity at Gen Con.
we saw
Cars,
cars,
Superion,
Yeah.
3 wide primes.
yeah.
The only real one-of decks were the stuff that we were running that were kind of
Yeah,
kind of
Kevin Allen, who won overall.
His 4 wide.
His 4 wide was unique and
Right.
different.
Vector Sigma on their
Vector Sigma.
Blaster.
Yeah, Vince's Blaster deck. props, kudos to you, Vince. That
Yep.
it's a great deck.
Yep. The General Prime list that they had with Barrage and Fire Drive.
Yeah.
I don't think they played it till top 32, but I know people were running it around. They were also running the one that had Drag Strip in that slot.
Yep.
We were running the Prime Time deck. You ran your Wheeljack. But like other than those one-offs, it was all stuff that we saw from Origins. And it was something I heard a lot when people were like, oh, well, bugs are just an easy in. Oh, Three-Eyed Primes did so well at Origins. I think the fact that we didn't talk about stuff made people just default to what was already being played.
What was had already proven itself. In
Right.
the
Yeah, I
grand
think that's
scheme
what it is.
of
I
things.
think it's like, I mean, people like, because I'm pretty sure people experiment at home, but people also want what's tried and true. I mean,
Yeah,
playing is fun, but winning is great.
Right.
You know, and so like if you
And if it's, that's the thing, Insecticon, the Bugs decks are,
Yeah.
generally favorable matchup against,
Right.
in most circumstances. Then then there are some favorable matchups, that they don't have. But that's just it, though. I mean, I saw a lot of what I'd seen before.
Right. So like it was really weird for me because nothing that I played against surprised me. Like I didn't sit down across from someone who threw something down and I was like, oh God, what is this guy doing? I don't know. Like every person I played, I was like, I know what his deck's doing. I know the cards in his deck because I'd played it before or a variation before.
Because I played Dinobots round 1, Insecticons round 2,
Right.
Rudy, Dinobots right again.
That day you guys met
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
Dinobots.
So Dinobots again,
There's a lot of Dinobots round one.
and
the
then
tournament we were in.
round 4. God, I don't remember my round 4 match.
I don't know.
Was it the Shockwave guy?
No, that was round 5.
Yeah.
I did play Shockwave deck.
Right.
And
Which, like I said, there were
there
definitely
there was some uniqueness, but everything that I pretty much soldiered up against was something that I'd seen or played
Right.
multiple times.
which like I said, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's good because it worked out for us, but I also think it's kind of bad because I don't as far as a content creator goes, right? I don't know if we or I did the right thing by not talking about things that I thought would be there, right? I knew Lionizer would be a big thing. I play tested against it. I knew bugs would be a big thing, so I built the deck to fight bugs. And like the matchups were, I don't want to say easy, but they were easier. Like I said, there was no real surprise. There was no real shock. And like I said, it worked out for us, but I don't know if it was the right thing.
Sure.
And now with on the packs, I'm kind of on that same boat. It's like when we start to get all these cards and wave 4 drops, it's like, do we build to get ready for this massive war at PAX? Or do I like when I find certain things that I think are really powerful, do I let the community know about it?
right.
And I don't know is the tough part.
Well, I mean, like, people are testing at home. Because I think, I wish I would have saw, was it Joe's deck? I heard he was doing, was it Mirage?
4 wide Pierce. Good one on you, man. That deck was
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
They said it was a
was a
Patreon,
Patreon.
deck
Yeah.
from because
Yep.
Wreck and Rule has you pay a little extra money for a month, you submit a deck to them, and then they work on it.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, and that, like I said, watched it, and he went 4-0, and then drew his last 2 rounds and took a break. But like watching that, I was like, that's crazy. That was it was
Yeah, that
it
was a
such
unique, crazy deck. That again, it was out of the box, and when you sit down and go bleh, and people go, wait, what was that?
and they don't know how to play against you, which is where it gives like you, who is the innovator, such a massive win rate now because they don't know. Like all the time, I'd sit down with that primetime list, and people would look at it and go, "Are you orange? Are you blue? Are you?" And they didn't know how to play against it. And then,
Yeah.
and then you're just like Gyro Blaster, and they're like, "Oh, I just lose."
Well, shit.
So, yeah,
So I don't know. For me, that's the interesting part about the meta. Was there were definitely those one-ofs that were really powerful stuff, but there were the majority of it was honestly nothing really new. It was like, oh, we'll make this adjustment here. I had 7 stars, so I put in Lionizer instead, and it's like it doesn't really change what the deck is doing.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah, if a lot of it felt very similar to what was at Origins.
Yeah, it was just higher level competitive play.
Yeah, different different card selections because of Wave 3,
Right.
a few character selections because of Wave 3, but there were, again, there were some great, individual one-off kind of like solo decks that, you know, it was just like, oh, that's totally different. That's
Like, I did not see that coming.
yeah. So that was great.
Making sure we're still recording.
Okay.
No, you're good. No, you're good. I got 14 minutes on it. We're fine.
Cameraman Mike.
Yeah.
Need more
So,
pouty.
like I said, that was the interesting part for me.
Yeah.
Was as far as like the meta goes, is that I feel like there was not as much exploration as there could have been, but now with everyone seeing what did well at Gen Con, the exploration part's going to happen now.
Yeah.
For qualifiers, people are going to go, okay, this is what did good. Let me maybe play this, and people are going to be like, oh, well, that won, so let me build to beat it. Like one thing to do that's really well, which Joe said on their talk about Gen Con, is find those one-off decks that did so well, or find those one-offs that didn't do so well, and kind of change them to fight the decks that you know are going to be there.
Right.
Wheeljack's going to be everywhere. For those who do have Cliff Jumper, he's going to be everywhere. RC, Lionizer, people will naturally gravitate to those aggressive lists, and if you can build something to beat those, you have your best chance of getting into your qualifier.
Right.
For sure. So,
Those are good points.
yeah, but I don't know. Like I said, it's just going to be really interesting, and so especially like I know our meta is very different, and we're always exploring, so it'll be interesting to see what you guys all bring at the qualifiers
Yeah.
to see. So, I don't know.
It's just gonna
I
be-
will report it though. I
That's
promise.
true. Or report some bullshit deck like this new cup deck is amazing.
So-
Everyone should totally play with it.
Well,
Hey, shut your mouth about cup.
yeah. Well,
Can I say too much?
yeah. my goal is to hopefully be able to maybe I don't know. I don't want to promise I can live stream at one of them or not, but my goal is definitely to record a lot of that because I don't have to play, which is really nice. Is that I can do some of the judging. I can go and record some matches and do a lot more of that side behind the scenes stuff,
Yeah.
which is really awesome.
Really
so,
cool.
but and then obviously we have to now get ready for PAX because PAX is where the big fight is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the worst part about it is we can you know, and people take this to heart. Start looking at those spoilers as they come down the pipe because we're only going to have a month.
It's gonna be almost exactly like Gen Con.
Yeah,
We
you're gonna have a month to build to build out, and so if you're paying attention to those spoilers and you're looking at those cards, start form. You know, I mean, there hasn't been too many yet, but start formulating
Yeah.
those ideas because there's a good chance that there's going to be some craziness coming out of Wave
absolutely.
4.
Yeah, absolutely.
And next thing we know, again, everything changes again. And it's one of the reasons I like the game is that so far, all the big tournaments, it's like we had our Wave 2 with Origins, our Wave 3 now with Gen Con, and our Wave 4 is going to be with PAX. And that's kind of cool that the game is just, shifting each time.
Yeah, and it's really worked out
Yeah,
in favor of that.
And hopefully we'll see, between now and PAX, we'll hopefully see a lot of new Wave 3
I think
decks.
there's going to be a lot of movement in the next
Yeah.
month and a half or so.
I think we'll see a lot of innovation with all the cups going on.
Yep, I think there's going to be a lot of innovation over the next month and a half. So,
Yeah.
and I know me personally, I got some really spicy stuff to show that's going to do a lot.
A nice spice.
Right. A real nice spice.
It's a real nice spice.
So I'm still going to show the top 32 deck that I ran, which was Jacob's deck that he built. That thing is
That thing is awesome.
it's disgusting. And if you have a problem with heavy blue in your meta, run this deck and they will stop playing blue. I guarantee it. It is.
I want to play this, and you stop playing.
They will throw them all into a bonfire, and I'm telling you,
I don't
it is disgusting.
We didn't stop playing blue.
No, but I mean, it makes you really regret like your choice when you sit down. I mean, I watched him play it in his prelim, and he went 4-0 with it. And I just watched him as he sat down his first round and went up against 3-wide primes, which that thing just eats alive. And I saw his opponent's face when he looked over and saw that Jacob had a warpath on the table and just went like,
Wait, what?
what do I do? And the answer is nothing. You're probably going to lose 2-0 and just take the loss if you want. 'Cause, like,
Bite the bullet. You're gonna lose.
if you try to think about it, you're just putting yourself into that quicksand. And like I said, that deck is designed to just murder blue.
Yeah.
So it's gross. So, last minute thoughts?
Like, subscribe. Nah, I got nothing.
Looking forward to seeing. I'm qualifying here in Denver. I know I am. So I'm looking forward to see everyone that I saw at at Gen Con. I hope to meet more people at PAX. I hope to see all the content creators again. I only really got to talk to Vince a little bit from Vector Sigma because most of the Vector Sigma guys were playing in the earlier tournaments, so there wasn't a lot of crossover between the late tournaments and the early tournaments.
Because there was 78 people in the morning that first day?
There was a ton of people, so I didn't really see any of the Vector Sigma guys other than Vince. So look forward to, maybe catching up with him at PAX. Look forward to catching up with the Wreck and Roll crew at PAX, Stefan at PAX, Cameron from Arbitrary Hero. It was really nice seeing him again. We had a great matchup. We played. Oh, that's who was my fourth round. It was Cameron from Arbitrary. Hero. There we go. It was Cameron. Cameron was a great. It was a great game. So, yeah.
Yep.
So I look forward to seeing all those guys again that I think that just make this community, the community as a whole, just a really great place to be a part of. And all the players that I met, just who aren't content creators, everyone was awesome. Like everyone was really nice, and just I'm so proud to be part of the Transformers community. I really am.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Oh, we are still recording. I thought you were messing with me.
More or less the same. Looking forward to PAX. Looking forward to just trying to tool some new decks and mess with explore, see what's out there that we haven't discovered yet. And
I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot that is yet to be unearthed.
Oh yeah.
So,
The way
I still think there's some stuff from Wave 2 that we haven't cracked.
Oh,
yet.
absolutely.
So, I don't know.
The way it usually works in most card games, right, is you have your people who will go to these tournaments and win, right? And then people who want to run the winning decks will run those decks. And then there's people who are like, I want to beat those decks, and they build to beat them. And that's that constant battle that you always have. Because then even when the underdog starts winning a lot, and they're like, well, this guy beat me, he built this deck to fight me, then they build a different deck or try to run something different.
Right.
And it's always this seesaw just back and forth of what's...
But at least we don't run into the problem where, I will say this, is even though we see a lot of, you see Insecticons, you see Cars, you see 3-Wide Prime, things along those lines, at least the game isn't stagnated at just those decks.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, there are so many good ideas and unique ideas out there that, it's not relegated to like, oh, if you don't play these two decks, you don't win.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I really like about this game.
Yeah. I mean, I swapped 3 security consoles for 3 zaps in my list, and it made all of my bugs matchups like an 80% win rate because I changed one card. And stuff like that is where those decks don't win every single match.
Right.
It's just making sure that your deck is built and tooled to, if you play against them, you have a better shot.
Right.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So that.
I mean, I think it's a key. No, it's the abilities because, I mean, focus. Them introducing focus allowed because Wave 1 it was like you're orange or you're blue and that's it.
Yeah.
Now with focus changes everything where you can do orange and blue because you can get that little bit of a deck manipulation. Like, oh, I don't need that blue for this attack, and then use tack, and then when you get it, we're defending like I don't need that orange. Boop, just get that out of there.
General Prime, man.
Or
Yeah, I mean, focus is just.
flipping 3 blanks on your defense.
That never happens, Wes.
Which you guys will see 100%. I'm going to show.
Oh yeah, it was on camera.
I'm going to 100% show that match because it was nuts.
I mean,
that was awesome.
I have 4 blanks in the deck. Flip 3 of them after focusing.
That's right, folks. Stay tuned. This will be some crazy shit.
Yeah.
They got lots of gameplay coming. There's so much. So much.
But yeah, I mean, what's the new Power Brave? No,
Safeguard.
Safeguard.
The one in
Yeah,
Wave 4.
Yeah, Safeguard. I mean, I think for all players, just looking at that ability and then seeing how does this
and revenge. I mean,
Yeah, and
there's
revenge.
The new revenge keyword, and then Safeguard again.
Yeah.
The game is changing. The state completely, flips its lid, kind of
It's
thing.
going to be so
Right.
much playtesting before PAX.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But that's the part I'm really excited for, and that's one thing that I think we did a really good job going into Gen Con, was that we play tested, I don't think as hard as we could have, but what we did play test was enough for us to do well there. Especially for me, I know that deck that I ran, I was very autopilot for, I know when to do this, I know what's coming up. And so, that's extremely important. And even if the deck isn't as good as your opponent's deck, if you have more practice with it and you know the matchup better, you're going to have a higher win rate than going into it kind of blind, not knowing what you're playing or what they're playing. And, so, cool. All right. Well,
Yeah.